All right, so Melissa, why don't you tell me what is it that we're working on today?
Well, I have frozen shoulder. I don't know how I got an injury of any kind. I don't know how it started. I don't know why. So I'd like more range of motion, but also to have the pain go away.
Okay, so right now on a scale of 1 to 10, how much pain are you in?
Right now, nothing. But I mean, and it's not that it's painful, like a 9. It's usually about a 3. It's something that I can deal with, but it's just a pain.
Okay, and that's normally just standing there walking around. You're normally at about a 3, and then when you try to move it, what does the pain get up to?
Maybe a 5.
Okay, all right, very good. And let's go ahead and see your range of motion. What is your range of motion? Go ahead and go straight arm. Let's go out to the side. All right, so we're not even quite to 90 degrees. Come up to the front for me. Okay, so we got a little bit more to the front, but go ahead and straighten the elbow. Okay, so we're just past 90 degrees there, not quite 90 degrees to the side. Okay, very good. And when you get to that top range of motion, is there any associated pain with that?
Just a little, yeah.
Just a little when you get there. Okay. All right, so let me kind of explain what we're going to do today, why it's a little different from what you've experienced, because you've said that you've done physical therapy before. What have you done for physical therapy?
Well, I was going twice a week, an hour at a time. I would warm up either the heat pad or like an arm bike to get warmed up, and then they would try and manipulate my shoulder to move and my shoulder blade to move around, and then I would do other range of motion exercises after that.
Okay, and how long did you do this?
I did 15 sessions.
15 sessions at an hour each time. Okay, and so this is as far as we've gotten, is what we've just
it's been about 2.5 weeks since I've gone.
Okay.
And I know I've lost a lot of range of motion, not going as often as I was. But it just feels tighter, I guess you could say.
Okay. What was the best that it was during physical therapy as far as your range of motion? Demonstrate with your left arm for me. How high did you get with physical therapy on your own? Not someone else moving you, but after your best session, where were you at?
Like if I did pulleys this way, I could pull it up fairly straight this way.
But that's the pulley helping you. So when you got done, you were at home and you went to put a glass in the cupboard. What was that like?
If it was low, I could do it, but if it was high, I'd have to switch.
Okay, so you never really on your own got beyond 90 degrees, really?
No.
Okay, without the machine, either someone else holding you or a machine doing the work for you.
Right.
Okay, well, let me explain a little bit about my background and why I do what we do today, because I was very similar in that shoulders were actually my thing. I was a 3-sport athlete growing up, all through high school: football, baseball, wrestling. I ended up playing baseball in college at Purdue University, but I was plagued early on in high school with a shoulder injury. And it was in high school my injury started because I had never lifted a weight in my life until high school. I was kind of the tall, skinny, fast guy on the football field. So coaches said, we got to bulk you up. So I went into the typical bigger, faster, stronger weight training programs in high school, which led to a lot of muscle imbalance, which then led to my injury. I literally threw my arm out of the socket and dislocated it my sophomore year in high school. I went through orthopedics, went through physical therapy, didn't really help me that much. Started coming up with my own therapy programs because I started just looking through anatomy books and saying, well, doesn't this connect with this, and doesn't this have to work if I'm going to try to get to this to work? So that was good enough for me to then walk on in college, but there was always still a problem. I never regained my full velocity back. So even though I could go out there and throw without pain, my fastball was always about 5 to 7 miles per hour slower than what it was previously. And here I am now in college, actually bigger and stronger, and yet I can't throw as hard as I wanted to. So I knew that there was something that was still limiting that performance. There was still something that I knew my brain was saying, hey, remember when we used to throw really hard and that bad thing happened to you? Well, what's the brain's response? It was shutting down muscles. So that was a very subconscious, because consciously, again, I'm trying to throw the ball as hard as I can, but subconsciously the brain's saying, I don't think we can go there, so it's not allowing me to do what I want it to do. So I knew that that was a neurological problem, not just a structural problem. It wasn't like there was a bony impingement. Like I say, the muscles were tight. I had solidified the joint through the physical therapy, that type of thing. So I realized that all different professions that we were researching, because I had gone through, well, fast forward my time at Purdue, I ended up, when I knew that my baseball career was coming in, I thought the next best thing would be to train athletes. So I got in strength and conditioning, got my master's first in exercise physiology. And so I started doing strength and conditioning at Purdue, but I was seeing a lot of athletes there with the same thing. They'd come in, bigger, faster, stronger, muscle imbalance, injury, surgery, rehab, back to the weight room. And it was that rat race where they were just getting stuck in. And usually with most of those athletes, about their second injury, they'd be washed up, they'd be done. And I said, something's got to stop, because the worst thing, my motivation is to help people never have to ask that question, what if? What if I never had that injury? What if I could have trained differently? What could I have done differently? Could I have really gone to the next level? And that really haunts them. So I ended up actually rehabbing shoulders at Purdue University, going to the Colorado Rockies, which is what brought us out here, and I rehabbed people like Garrett Atkins' shoulder, and was helping them through some of that, but still without this. And I knew there was always that one thing missing, because I had gone back in that time at Purdue University. Every break I got, I studied under chiropractic, physical therapy, various massage techniques like ART, was breaking up myofascial, using myofascial release techniques, all the kind of things that they're doing now in therapy to try to put together a program that didn't allow people to fall through the gaps of where one profession ended and one other profession began. But again, that neurological component was still always there. It was the thing that said, hey, if I can't get the brain to turn on the muscles, I don't care how many weights you lift, how many times you do those pulleys and the manual therapies and all that, it always still comes back. And so that's what we're going to address today. We're going to look at what is the cause of the shoulder impingement or the imbalance or whatever's going on, not just where did the problem end up. And that's unfortunately what's happening in our current soft tissue modalities is, if you go in and say, my back hurts, they're going to work on your back. Well, I had a gentleman even earlier this morning who was demonstrating to his wife, because it was her first time to see him in action. We weren't working on his back. We were working on his legs, because he would go out for hikes and his inability to absorb force in his legs was then transferring that force to his back. So he was going saying, hey, my back hurts, but the solution wasn't just fix my back. It was, well, allow the legs to work right, and guess what? The back's not going to hurt anymore. So that's the approach that we're going to take today. Does that make sense so far?
Yeah, because I know, whatever is wrong is in here, but when it does hurt, it's just like a band around here. And somebody said, well, that's just that it originated here, and it's just showing up here. I mean, I would have pain down my forearm and stuff. And so anyway, I know it makes sense, but then it doesn't make sense. If
Right.
It hurts, it should hurt here.
Right. Yeah, pain's never a good indicator of our health, because a lot of times pain can be referred, as well as pain can be easily manipulated. If you walk in here with a headache and said, fix my headache, and I stomp on your foot, guess what? I can fix your headache. That doesn't mean I actually fixed it. It just means now your brain's focused on your foot, not on the headache. But here's the thing about pain. Using that example, if I rub your foot out, ice it a little bit, make it feel better, guess what? The headache comes back, because now the brain remembers, oh, I got this headache. So we want to make sure that we're treating the actual cause, not just the symptoms of that. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is a muscle balance test. Okay, we want to make sure that everything is turned on properly. Okay, so let's go ahead. We're going to start with the good arm here. Let's turn a little bit. Okay, I'm going to have you hold your arm against the body. I'm going to try to pull it away. You're not going to let me pull it away, and I want to see how quickly do we turn on. I'm not seeing how strong the muscle is. I just want to see how quickly does the signal from your brain to the arm turn on. Okay, so go ahead and resist for me. Good, that's it. That was right away. Okay, bring the arm up, resist. Good, that's immediate. Palm up, resist. Very good, that's immediate. Okay, let's check this arm for me. So turn this way, okay, and resist. Good, see, that's fine. Bring the arm up here, resist. Okay, that's actually a little bit better, but not too bad. And resist. Okay, that's the difference. You see the problem. Okay. So when we test from that way, what we're looking for is that biceps tendon right here that gets out of whack, which then causes, unfortunately, with shoulder injuries, most people are very anterior or dominant in the front. We pick up our groceries, our kids, our weights, everything we do, gyms, how they're even set up, everything is push, 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 curl, curl, curl. All of this gets tight, okay? So this bicep and the bicep tendon pulls the shoulder forward, and that pulls out of alignment. When the brain starts to see things are out of place, what does it do? It wants to protect, and therefore it shuts muscles down. And that's why you go from being strong to all of a sudden, it's weak. Not that I'm overpowering you, the pressure is the same. What we're looking for, though, is that protective mechanism, okay? So the first thing we're going to do before we actually start the treatment is a muscle balancing to put you back into balance. And this would be kind of like my version of a chiropractic adjustment, okay? This is what allows me not to have to do chiropractic adjustments because we want to get everything turned back on from a neurological perspective, but understand that the balancing in and of itself is not treatment. And that's why, because I'll get a lot of people say, yeah, I went in, I had an adjustment, or I had my session, or whatever practitioner we're talking about, and it felt good right then and there, but then when I went later and I went to go move and I went to go do this, it was right back out. Well, the main reason is because the single adjustment, the single PT session, there's not enough stimulus to actually overcome that compensation that your body now has. So what we have to do is get you back into balance, which is what the adjustment does, or maybe some of the, depending on the physical therapy we're talking about, we can regain balance, but we also have to then do the work to overcome the compensation, and that's where you're actually going to get it to hold. And that's why, for example, with chiropractic, you can get results over time because you get an accumulative effect, but we don't want you to do another 15 hours worth of PT. We want to make sure that we're done in a timely fashion. So we'll get to that when we get to the treatment, okay? All right, so for the muscle balance, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put 2 of these pads on your lats. We're going to put 2 on the hip flexor, and we're going to do a particular movement pattern to help reset that. As I'm getting you set up, let me describe for you the difference in this type of electrical stim that we're going to be doing compared to what other types are out on the market. So when you've ever done traditional electrical stem, TENS units, Russian stem, unfortunately those units here in America are all run off of alternating current. The reason that that is the case is because really the Russians from the former Soviet Union, they were pretty much the pioneers when it came to experimenting and figuring out this type of technology. Problem was they used direct current because that's what actually works, but very few of their athletes could even tolerate the treatment because it was excruciatingly painful and it would literally singe their skin. So here in America, they said, well, we can't have that, so they went to alternating current because it was tolerable. The problem with alternating current, that's like you sticking your finger in the light socket. It doesn't really work well with the body, which is why it tightens you up, causes the immediate muscles to go into contraction, and then you lay there on the table until 20 minutes is up, and then you walk away because it does increase a little bit of blood flow, and it fatigues the muscle to the point where, okay, the muscle just has to relax, but again, it doesn't break any compensation, so when you go back out about 3 hours later, muscles go right back to being tight. So we knew that we had to go back to the direct current, but we had to figure out a way to get it to work so that it wasn't excruciatingly painful and singeing your skin. So what this has is a background, or what we call a biphasic waveform, that's basically the same exact current within your body, so that as we turn up the direct current, it can bypass the protective mechanisms of the skin and the endothelial cells and the fatty tissue, so that direct current can actually penetrate and do its job correctly. Okay, so that's the big difference. And we're going to allow you to move, which is key, because to break compensation, you have to have the ability to move. We're going to do a movement that we call the Statute of Liberty. So I'm going to have you rotate. So we're going to like point to your opposite hip. Notice my arm is straight, so I'm firing this tricep muscle. I'm going to lift and bring my thumb back. Okay, so I'm going to put it back in my pocket. It's like I'm drawing a sword. I raise my sword, I put the sword back in the pocket without letting the elbow bend. Okay, we're going to do 5 repetitions on each arm. Okay, and you're just going to feel a light tingle right there. Okay, go ahead, start with the left. Just we'll get the good arm going first. Yep, straight up. Good. Rotate down and up. Good. Rotate down. Good. And let's try that with the right arm. Okay. Yeah, that's it. Rotate and up. Good. Each one just a little bit higher. Rotate. Very good. And we're already starting to see a little bit of improvement just in the muscle balance test. As you can see, that arm's getting a little higher each one, and we haven't even started treatment yet.
Right.
Okay. So yeah, and then go ahead and rest. We're going to do that on the minute. And go ahead, left arm. Good. Now that you have the movement, I'm also going to talk to you about appropriate breathing through all of our sessions. I want you breathing in and out through the nose. We're going to breathe in for a 4 count and out for an 8 count. Go ahead. Yep. And let's go to the right arm now. And I want you breathing from the diaphragm or from your belly, not from your chest. Most people try to breathe from up here. I want you to breathe down here. So when you breathe in, the belly fills up with air. When you breathe out, the abs contract. And that's how you exhale. Good. Good. That's getting much better. So we can visibly see that arm getting higher already with just a basic muscle balance. Okay, go ahead and rest. Okay, go ahead, left arm again. Very good. So this particular exercise is resetting that biceps tendon, which is already allowing you to start to move. Good. And right arm, let's just go straight from here to here. So that's it. Good. Each one a little higher. Good. Lift it up. Good. Let's see how high we can go. Very good. Okay. Let's go ahead and continue that. We got 13 seconds left, so you can just continue with the right arm. Good. Each one, lift it up and hold. Good. Rotate down. Lift up, hold. Rotate down. And relax. Okay, perfect. All right, so we can take those out. All right, so real quick, we're going to retest. So let's check this arm. This arm was already in, resist. Good, but this is our baseline. Resist, good. Resist, very good. Okay, let's check here. Resist, very good. Resist, good. And resist.
Much better.
Much better. Very good. So yeah, I'll routinely have big old NFL linemen that come down, and like if we're working on a leg, for example, let's say their lower torso is out of balance. You know, these are big, strong guys. There's no way with me at my size I should be able to push one of their legs, and they'll be out of balance, and I'll just easily with 2 fingers be able to push a leg down. Once they're in balance, I'll literally put all my body weight on their leg, and they'll hold me up. And that's just by being in balance. Now, being in balance, like I say, is not treatment, though. That's the problem, because if you right now, you're in balance, we just demonstrated an improvement in both your range of motion and your strength without me even touching you. But if you went out and tried to go exercise at the gym, do some yard work, guess what? That shoulder would be right back out, and it would be just the same tomorrow. Okay, and that's where a lot of manual therapies finish. They feel good right now, and you're like, oh, I'm happy. But then you're like, okay, doc, I'm back to the same position, okay? So we're going to actually start the treatment now. So treatment consists of 2 parts today. So the first part is what we affectionately call search and destroy. This is where we're going to figure out where your problem started from, not just where your problem ended up. Okay, so before we start this, you were saying about a kind of the diagnosis from an MRI. Why don't you share with me about what that was?
They said I had a vertical less than 20% tear in a tendon, and that's what made everything happen to begin with.
Okay, well, let's quickly address that, because the tear is not what made everything happen, because there's one step below that. How did you get the tear in the first place?
Yeah,
Exactly, because if the muscles do their job, you don't get tears. And that's where we want to get working on, because if the muscles still aren't doing their job, even if you fix the tear, which will also help facilitate a much faster recovery, but you're still susceptible to the same injury all over again without doing anything about the muscles. A simple way to think about it is like a rubber band. If I want to shoot a rubber band further, what's the first thing I have to do? I have to be able to stretch it further. But if that rubber band's been sitting out in the sun, it's all brittle, it's either going to snap or it's just not going to go any further, and so therefore I can't get any more out of the rubber band.
Right.
So same thing here. If we get the muscles to do their job, then I can stretch those rubber bands a little bit further, which means you can absorb more force, and ultimately you can display more force, whether it's any daily life activity or, again, my professional athletes trying to get better performance on the field. They have to be able to absorb force so that they can generate more force. Okay, so search and destroy. So now this is where we're going to figure out where your problem began. And so I'm going to start where you say it hurts, because, again, most people think that that's where the problem is, but more than likely I would say about 8, 9 out of 10 times that's not where the problem is, that's just where the problem ended up. So I'm actually going to search the whole shoulder, down the whole arm, and we're going to search the whole upper quadrant of the back, okay? And we want to see everything. Now what you're going to experience here is basically like a Charlie horse, okay? If you've ever had a Charlie horse, muscles tighten up. The reason you get that is because that's a guarding mechanism. So what we're basically doing is allowing the body to experience a perceived stimulus. We're going to, basically trick your mind into thinking that you're out doing something with your shoulder that it doesn't like. So we're going to see those muscles tighten up. What I'm looking for is what produces the greatest Charlie horse, in essence, okay? Because that tells me where the greatest amount of guarding is happening. Therefore, that's where we need to treat, okay? All right, so your job is just to breathe and relax. Okay. Just like if you've ever gotten a deep tissue massage, if someone's working on a knot and you tense up, it makes it worse. But if you breathe and relax, it's not so bad. That's what this is going to be like. Okay. All right. So you point to where you normally feel the pain.
Just like a band in through here.
Okay. So we'll start there, and then we'll go around. And more than likely, I can tell you for shoulder injuries, anything that involves that bicep tendon is a lot of times where we're going to be working. So I'll start there, but we'll check everything. All right. So right here.
Ooh.
Okay. Yeah.
Wow.
Okay. So we're going to see the hand. Okay.
Sorry.
That's fine. All right. Let's check the shoulder. Okay. Let's check the upper back. Okay, a lot of times, like I say, a lot of those shoulder problems originate with the rotator cuff back here in the scapula. Okay, we got the, there's a hot spot. Okay, so that was that biceps tendon that we were talking about. Okay, and right there. Okay, so normally, like when people get good at this or they are used to it, they can call out numbers. We usually use the 1 to 10, like, ooh, there's my 10, there's my 8, there's my 3. Yeah. Hard part with day one is you don't know what a 3 versus a 10 feels like.
Right.
So what I'm looking for is I can see how the muscle's actually reacting, how it's contracting. So from what I saw, this spot here and then that bicep tendon up here, those were your major hot spots. Yeah. So usually what I find at the end, and we actually had one more down here underneath, so then I kind of do what the optometrist does, where they flip the lenses and say which one's worse, A or B. Yeah. Okay, so you just tell me which one has the most intense contraction, and that's where we're going to start. Okay. So I'm just going to go A, Woo! Yeah, B, or C right there.
Oh, yeah.
C.
Yeah.
Okay, so you didn't have to say it. I could see it from what was happening. So that's where we're going to start. Okay. All right, so we know that that part of the shoulder is not communicating with the brain effectively, but it is communicating somewhere. So we got to find out where that is. So I'm going to keep this on that spot. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to figure out what turns this back on. So for example, if I put this here on the wrist, you don't really feel that. But I'm guessing if I come here, see how that turns it on. So different parts of the body communicate differently, okay? So I'm going to do that same search with this pad, and we're going to find what turns that on the most. So there, not as much. Tricep, not as much. Again, there, that's a lot. Okay, let's come back. The shoulder, yeah, there's a little bit there. And we're okay all through here. All right, so we can see that that spot in there was what turned that on the most. Okay, all right, so that search and destroy, we're done with that. That is what tells me where to treat. So all we're going to do is wrap those spots.
That was bizarre.
Okay, because basically you have to remember all we're going to do is take a magnifying glass to your compensation patterns. So now, because when you go to put the milk back in the refrigerator, your shoulder is compensating, but you're not naturally aware of what's happening. So as I do this, and we're tricking your brain into thinking that you're under a high load, a high stimulus, so therefore your brain wants to protect, but we're doing it at a high enough stimulus that those compensation patterns become visible. So now that they become visible, guess what? We get to do something about it. You can actually affect change. This is now the part where we're actually going to start treatment. We're going to do 2 7-minute segments and you're done, as opposed to a whole hour of PT. Yep. We're going to do 14 minutes of work and you're all done. Okay. And then what's going to happen is I'm going to start you at low levels. You can kind of think of it like a warm-up in the gym. If you went to go lift weights, you would start with a lighter weight, kind of get moving, then we add more weight. So I kind of call this neurological weight training, because in the gym, as you lift weights, you'll get to a point where you get to a max, okay? That to you would be a 10. Let's say right now you could bench press 100 pounds and that's your max. So I can't drop 150 pounds on you because you would get hurt, right? You have to train that. Well, if we do train you over a couple months and you're stronger, and let's say now you can bench press 150, if we went back to 100, it wouldn't feel like a 10 anymore, it'd feel like a 6, okay? This is going to be no different, but the difference is we're going to affect change in a matter of seconds and minutes, not months of training. Because we're going to build you up, we're going to get to a point where that's your max. It's going to feel like a 10, and that's all you can do to move, but 5 repetitions later, you're going to be like, oh, I can move. It's not going to feel like a 10 anymore. It's going to feel like a 6 or a 7. Guess what? Now I get to add more weight to the bar, which is me going up to a higher level of intensity. We're just going to repeat that process until either we get done with this treatment, or if we get to a point where we get to a 10 and you do 5 repetitions, if it's still at a 10, that's as high as we go for today. Okay. Okay? Okay. There's level 1. Yep. Good. Rotate. Very good. And up. Good. With each one, let's get a little higher. Good. Go ahead and put the thumb around for me because you're actually going to squeeze. That's it. Very good. Okay, back to the side. So each time, go ahead. So we're just going to do 5 repetitions and rest here at your side. Shoulders back. Good. Okay, now we're going to add a little more weight to the bar. Okay. Okay. Right about there. Okay, first thing, breathe. That's it. Now pull your shoulders back and down. Okay, rotate across.
I could rotate.
Yeah, you can. The first one's always the hardest. Okay, because now this is like you being at your 10. Now slowly come up. There it is. Rotate. Okay, I want you to fire your tricep. Shoulders back first. So remember, everything between the brain and here has to be in a proper thing, because if you guard like this, the brain says, ooh, I don't like what's happening, so it causes that bicep to tighten up. That's what you just experienced. But again, that's a compensation. If you get tall, bring the shoulders back, rotate, fire that tricep. Okay, and up. Good. Rotate and up. See, when you move appropriately, everything goes into place. I told you at the beginning of the session that you started off here, that we'd get you up to there. We're only 2 minutes into treatment, and you're already almost up to your ear. Okay? That's what we want to see. Good. And being that it's day 1, here in a second, I'm going to help guide you through appropriate movement, okay? But at first, I just wanted you to see what you can already do just on your own, just by sending the appropriate signal to the brain to override that guarding mechanism.
Cool.
Okay. All right, back down to the side, shoulders back. Let's go both hands down. That's it. You're fine. Okay. Go ahead and squeeze. Yep. Okay. Okay, so pull your shoulders back. There. Okay, now come on up for me. Good. Now I want you to press your elbow down into my hand. Pull back and down. Good. Come down and back up. Up, 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 up. Press into my hand. Good. See how when you press here, you're firing that lat muscle? Okay, I want you to pull down from here. There. Okay, that supports the shoulder. Okay, go ahead. Up. Very good. Good. Let's pull your belly button into your spine. Keep your abs tight. Squeeze your glutes. Good. Down. And one more on your own. Up. Very good. Okay, come on down to your side. Okay, shoulders back and down. Breathing deep through your nose. Get your air in. Okay, rotate. Keep the shoulder blades back. Rotate. Nope, not from the shoulder. So we want to rotate inside the shoulder. There. Okay, fire that tricep. Extend the arm. There it is. Okay, let's come up now. Very good. Keep coming up. Up, 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 up. Reach, reach, reach. Now press into me. Press hard, hard as you can. Pull down through your lat where my hand is. Good. Okay, now lift back even higher. Good. Press down into me. Hard as you can, hard as you can. Good, and up. Very good. Keep those abs tight. And press down into me. Keep pressing, press down with me. Keep pressing down and rotate. Good, breathe, and up. You're okay. Notice how, and it's common human nature, when something tenses up, what do you want to do? You want to hold your breath, okay? So your job is to be relaxed. I want you to, do you play any sports?
Not now. No.
What did you used to play?
I ice skated.
Oh, okay, very cool. All right, so in your mind, I want you to think, if you were ice skated, you could probably do the pirouettes and all that. Where were your arms, right? Up here? Okay, so in your mind, I want you to go back to ice skating. What did it feel like to have your hands just float up there effortlessly? Okay, create that feeling in your body. You'll be surprised at how your body will follow suit.
Okay.
Okay, so close your eyes. Feel yourself ice skating. Lift your hand. Okay, back down, and now let's go a little faster. I want you to snap it up there like you were. We could use that. Okay, we're gonna make the muscles do the job. And up. Very good, down. And up. See when you create that relaxing, because you can't be tense and ice skate. Doesn't work very well, right? You have to stay loose and controlled, and then your muscles can just do the job. Okay, I'm going to come up just a little bit more. Very good. Okay, we're getting this. So I want you to squeeze with your hand. Squeeze hard, and then bring your knuckles out. There it is. Good. Up. Keep rotating. Thumb back, thumb back, thumb back. And go. Up. Very good. And down. Okay, now press out against me. Press up. That's it. Keep pressing as hard as you can. Hard as you can. Hard as you can. Keep pressing. Keep pressing. Keep pressing. Keep pressing. Keep pressing. Good. Pull your shoulder down and press up at the same time. Good. No, keep it down. You had it. There it is. Very good. So you're pulling down with the lat, but you're learning how to lift the shoulder correctly. See, when the shoulder rises from here, that's a guarding mechanism. Okay, so pull down and lift up. Go. You got 8 seconds. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Shoulder down. Shoulder down. Shoulder down. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. 2, 1, and relax. Very good. Okay, you're halfway done. Here we go. Round 2. Okay, go ahead. Rotate and lift. Very good. Rotate and lift. That's it. Okay, keep pulling that shoulder down with the lats. So think tall posture. As an ice skater is a lot like a dancer. You work a lot of posture, okay? So I want you to think about that posture, shoulders back and down as you lift your arm up. Good, very good. Okay. That's it. So again, this is the key. With any other kind of electrical device, it just tightens muscles up so you can't move appropriately. But movement is really the key to breaking all the compensation. So we're retraining appropriate movement under a higher neurological load.
Yeah, my brain feels like it's like trying to figure out what's going on.
Yep. And actually that's pretty good description. What we're doing is we're stimulating so much, we're actually creating so much inflammation that your brain says, I don't know what to do with all this, so I'm just going to get rid of it all. And so it's kind of like rebooting a frozen computer. Okay, the computer's fritzed out, it's locked up. So what we're doing is hitting the Control-Alt-Delete, and it's resetting what we call the alpha gamma loop, which is your activation, relaxation, neurology of the muscles. Good. That's it. First one's always the hardest. Yep. So that's why normally it takes about 3 repetitions to break a compensation, and then we do 2 more to solidify them so that it start to be ingrained in the mind. And so that's why we do sets of 5. Good. Now let's work to, as you come up, get that thumb all the way back. We want to really rotate the shoulder. So keep rotating, thumb back, thumb back, thumb back. So this direction here. Good.
Gotcha.
Okay, so come in, thumb to the pocket, keep that fired. So lock out that tricep. Good. Rotate up, thumb comes back. Good. Thumb to the pocket and thumb back. That's it. So now you do that on your own. Thumb back, thumb back, thumb back. Good. Now I want you to snap up. Yep. There you go. Snap down. Okay, we've given you the ability to use your shoulder again. So now we're really going to start to use it. Okay, so we're going to add velocity. We're going to be aggressive and just snap up, because if you're hesitant, which you've been hesitant to use your arm because it hurts and it won't do it, fear is the worst antithesis to appropriate movement.
And I understand that. Teaching skating.
Yeah. Yeah. If you're first time someone goes from a double to a triple Lutz, it's really scary, right?
Right.
So therefore, if they're scared to do it, they're not going to do it. It's going to look very ugly. Okay. But if they are aggressive at it and they really attack the ice, they have a better shot at making it look pretty. And that's what we're going for, is what does pretty movement look like? There you go. Okay. So from here on out, we're just getting you to higher levels to prepare you for tomorrow's work. So something like this, 10 sessions, and you're done. Yeah, like I said, the first one's the hardest. Now watch. Each one gets a little bit higher. Good. Here's number 3. This is what breaks it. Okay. Now we're going to solidify by rotating the thumb up at the top. Rotate, rotate, rotate. Almost. Okay. Now here's the difference. This next one, I'm going to have you take a breath in and snap it up. Good. Better. That's it. Now squeeze the handle. Squeeze hard and rotate the thumb. Almost. Here, I'll give you a little help. Come back down. Fire that tricep. Shoulders back. Posture. Good. Come up. Rotate. There it went. Oh, you had it. Did you feel it?
Yeah.
Okay. Squeeze and rotate. Good. Press down against me. Good. Hard as you can. Press down, press down, press down, press down. Good. Go. Snap up. Squeeze. Almost. Almost. We're almost there. Up. Squeeze. squeeze and rotate.
Oh.
Back, there we go. Okay, we're just working on that guarding mechanism. Okay, I want you to squeeze and knuckle up for me like you're riding a motorcycle. Good, keep the shoulder back. Okay, we're learning how to coordinate these muscles. Okay, go ahead, keep squeezing, throttle up with the motorcycle, rotate. Almost there. Now, we'll demonstrate another little trick here. What I'm going to do is we're going to turn it up really high, but then I'm going to bring it back down, because then all of a sudden your brain's going to go, ooh, I didn't like that, so this is easy. So, okay, so we're going to get super tight, try to just breathe. Good, we're going to tighten up everything. Good, shoulder back and down. Okay, as soon as you start, stand up tall, stand up tall. Okay, I'm going to come back down now. As soon as you can move, move and snap it up. Go, start moving. There it is, go. Snap it up, snap it up. Go, go, go. You got it, you got it, you got it. Good, rotate and go. Good, now go faster. Snap it up, snap it down. Oop, almost, we're still getting that shoulder. Okay, good, that was the rotation, but that was the shoulder getting down. So pull that shoulder back and down, up and rotate, down through the lat, good. Come across, and up, 20 seconds, let's move fast. Rotate, rotate, inside the shoulder, good, down. Okay, let's do this for the last one. Let's just come straight out to the side for me. Good, down, and up. Good. Pull down here, hold. Good. Press out to the side. Hard as you can. Press out, press out, press out, press out. Press out, press out, press out. Keep pressing. Good. Up. Good. Press down into me as hard as you can. Good. Lift higher. Good. Press down. I started you work in the front. I'm just wanting to give you a little demonstration on the side. Lift up and down. That's it. Pull down through the lats. Right through here, right through here. Pull down hard as you can. Good. Squeeze the handle and knuckle up. Like throttle up. There you go. Lift up. Good. Keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. Press down into me. Keep pressing down. Keep pressing down. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and relax.
Oh my word.
Very good. Okay, so final demonstration. I'm going to get this off of you. So we know that there's nothing on you. All right. So let's see your range of motion from the side. Good. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going.
Trying to not make my shoulder.
Yep. And like I say, this is just day one. We're working that, but I want to see, we could even get to horizontal at the start. Go down and back up. Down and up. Just 5 times. Good. Breathe in. Lift up. Higher. Snap it up. Snap it up. There you go. Up. Good. And I'm just having you reinforce the fact that you can do it. Now let's see the front. Good, that's a huge amount, and that's what we focus on today. So tomorrow what we'll probably do is work on this side, because you were about just past 90 degrees there. Go ahead and do it again. Okay, we've got you to about 85% right there. So that's a big improvement, but that's what we focused on today. So we work the movement pattern, and then we're going to strengthen you as we go along.
Okay.
All right.
So now what do I need to expect for the rest of the day?
I sent you the diet plan, correct? All right, so the diet plan, because what you just went through is like a workout, metabolically speaking. The reason that we can get you to do so much change in a short amount of time is that the signal from the muscle to the brain and back to absorb force properly, if you were doing traditional, any kind of exercise, weight training, physical therapy, that signal goes at a rate of 2 times a second. So assuming, let's say we were doing an exercise for 10 minutes straight, and you were to do 1 repetition every second, and assuming every one of those repetitions was correct, you just did 1,200 repetitions, neurologically speaking. That's traditional weight training or physical therapy. This was sending that same signal to your brain at a rate of 500 times a second. Okay, so for the same 10 minutes of work at each second for 10 minutes of work, that's 300,000 repetitions. That's why it's so effective at breaking compensation. Okay, but also there's a cost to that. That cost is a high metabolic demand. So we have to have the diet to fuel both for tomorrow's session as well as to recover from today's session. So the goal is that I would expect a little bit of normal muscle soreness, like when you go to the gym, because we're working on compensation. That's a whole other conversation, talking about that if you had no compensations, you could lift as hard as you wanted to and you wouldn't ever be sore. But because we have compensation and we're working through that, we know you're going to be a little sore. But my expectation is that on a 1 to 10 scale would never be any higher than like a 2 to a 3. Okay. Otherwise, I can recover you, which is another neat thing to see, because usually when you're super sore from lifting, it takes about a good 2 days to recover. We can recover you in 20 minutes. But ideally, we just get to work. So the diet fuels you so that you have more energy to do the next workout as well as recover you. The rest of the day, you wouldn't do any exercise per se. You would just go about your normal daily activities. Once we start you in session 5, then we'll set up what we call a force absorption test, which is you actually getting to go out and test it, whether it's lifting or exercising or throwing or whatever it is that we'll set it up at that time. So the rest of the day, your job is to follow the diet, make sure you get a good night's sleep, because again, you can't recover if you don't sleep well, and then I will see you tomorrow.
Okay.
And like I say, we'll do the first 5 sessions back to back. We'll give you a break over the weekend, and then we'll start strength. When again, I'm talking neurological strength, not just weight training strength. That will start next week, and we'll get you done in 10 sessions.
That's great. Yeah, thank you.
You're quite welcome. We look for a 25% improvement in both pain reduction as well as your ability to increase absorption of force. So the average person, if they come in, let's say their pain level is at an 8, in one session they might drop down to a 4, and then by tomorrow they'll creep up a little bit, but I wouldn't want them any higher than a 6. That would be my 25% improvement. Then we start at a 6, we drop to a 3, they get to a 4, but by the end of session 4, they're out of pain. So for you, we're going to look to get that range of motion improved. I'd like to see by the end of session 4 for an issue like this, like a frozen shoulder, you're going to have, I would say, at least 90% range of motion entirely, and then can finish that very last bit as well as solidify it so that you always have that range of motion in sessions 5 through 10.
Okay, sounds great.
Okay?
Well, thank you.
You're quite welcome. Thanks for coming in.
Yeah.